All right, guys. We are here with Reynor playing Protoss up against his goddamn rival, Serral in the top right side. And Reynor's playing Protoss versus Serral. Now, there are brave moves in StarCraft. Reynor playing Protoss versus Solar a few times. I mean, him playing Protoss versus Dark in the Grand Finals, the Gladiator Cup, was an absolute Chad move. But to play against Serral PVZ here in the TSL, it's the semi-finals. Like, dude, you are an absolute madman. Serral is one of the most controlling players out there, but not just that. It's not the fact that, when I say controlling, I mean like he doesn't really let you get going, right? Reynor's a bit of a tempo guy. And I actually think Serral really struggles with Reynor's mind games in ZVZ. I think Reynor literally is so good at just doing things that confound Serral. The problem Reynor's going to have in this matchup, in my opinion, number one, he's playing the GOAT. Number two, Serral's planning is off the charts. In the last year, the last 2 years even, Serral comes out with some of the best planned kill move builds in every single matchup. And the thing is, people are still stuck in the mindset, oh, Serral's the macro god, he just defends and gets broodlords. No, he doesn't, guys. He kills people in the mid game and he Fs them up. If you're not careful, he studies his opponents. He is one of the best preparation players out there. I don't think Reynor prepares that well. I think Reynor's very good at kind of getting a feel for what his opponent's going to do, feeling his way through a series, adapting game 1 to game 2, game 3. You give Reynor best of 7s, best of 5s, and bigger, and he's amazing. But Serral is a god at pretty much all the matchups, and I would love to see Serral in GSL because that preparation is so good in that format where you know your opponent for a solid week, and that allows you to prepare very, very well. Reynor, of course, is also going to be very aware of the fact that Serral is the biggest test he stood. But classically, we've criticized Reynor's Protoss for being greedy. We've said, hey, he's really good if the Zerg leaves him alone and gives him space to show what he's made of. But if they actually just hit him with a timing attack, he's very vulnerable. His build orders are greedy. And that is something that I've pointed out a few times. Solar failed to take advantage of it and has struggled really hard and has said, oh, Reynor's even better than Hero. I think Hero is a much more dynamic and fully fledged, well-rounded Protoss than Reynor, though. I have seen Reynor mix in some little aggressive moves here and there. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. He does pretty well with it, but it's also something where, like, we saw he tried to do like a quick double adept pressure versus Dark. Dark saw him go Cybercore before Nexus, and Dark just like built 8 Zerglings, ran past the first adept, and killed like 8 probes and won the game. And it was these things where I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah. A guy like Dark who just throws in something unexpected, some high-level advanced maneuver can be really effective. Now, unfortunately, Reynor has only had 1 worker mining on this patch all game, 3 on that patch. Slight mistake there in the inefficiency department. Reynor is going to take the front Nexus by the looks of it. That's interesting. It is very close to your natural ramp, so you can kind of just defend in one tight little pattern, which is good. Overlord in the back for Serral there. Serral, he's got a 3rd queen out. 4th and 5th queen are going to be emerging in just a second. He's already got 2 tumors on the front. And he's going to put a tumor up here in the main, I think, soon as well. First Oracle comes in, and Reynor just backs out. Yeah, very good creep tumor for Serral. Great spread for him. Look at his Overlord vision, and his Lings on the front as well. It's interesting that Reynor didn't feel confident taking that front 3rd. I thought he was going to go for it, but now he mines this base out. He will be able to drop that Nexus momentarily. And 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Not the fastest Nexus. On the other hand, really hard to break a Protoss player on this map. 2nd Stargate. Oh, you dirty little boy. Now, is that going to be 2? I think it'll be 2-star Phoenix. I don't think he's a carrier guy. And, oh, dude, this Overlord. Oh, that's the Goatalord. That is, guys. For those who don't know, the Goatalord is the Overlord that sneaks on by, sees the 3rd, and it's going to come in and see him when he's only got 3 or 4 Phoenix. So, Reynor's going to be doubled down and committed to the Phoenix production, but he wants to not show it until he's got 7 or 8, and he wants to show it at the last second. But Serral is going to fly in with this Overlord. If he sends this in right now, it's going to get vision. And he does. He sends it in. Oh, this is so bad for Reynor. And Serral just masterful scouting. Doesn't even commit to Overlord speed. Sees the 2nd Stargate. And he doesn't even show that he's seen it. Overlord. For those who don't know, the Overlord is one of the longest sight range units in the game. So Reynor has no vision of the Overlord. The Overlord sees the Phoenix producing. He comes back in, spots that it's a Phoenix. For those who don't know, yes, you can see. If you look closely, that's a Phoenix being built. So he knows it's 2-star Phoenix. And Reynor does not know that he's seen it. Serral is on another level, mate, and he's going to be super well prepared. Now, this should, for all intents and purposes, be a smackdown for Serral from here, because not only was Reynor's 3rd slightly late, he's committing to a build that is meant to be a sneaky surprise, And it is absolutely going to be blind counted, or not blind counted, but for as far as Reynor realizes, it'll feel like he's being blind counted right now. And if these Phoenix go out and they don't even see that Overlord could even scout the follow-up, which Forge going down makes me think it might be Skytoss. We might see a full Skytoss game from Reynor, but I don't think he's going to get there. I feel like Serral's going to make a spy and make Corruptors and then kick him in the balls. Phoenix are going to fly out in a moment. He's waiting for just 1 or 2 more. He's going to go, yeah, 8 Phoenix surprise. Oh my god, I'm going to catch Serral off guard. Cheeky Reynor, young Ricciardo. And he has no idea. Look at that. The Oracle kills the Zergling on the Watchtower to disguise what he's doing. And actually, it's Infestation Pit and Nidus Worm. Wow, he's going to go Nidus, Mass Queen, Swarm Host, Roach Ravager potentially. Very cool moves by Serral here. The Phoenix, why did they turn around? I do not know. The Adepts go in. They see... Oh, because they see the Nidus Worm. Oh, they see the Nidus Worm. Okay. He still doesn't know that Overlord is up there in the back of his base, so he's going to go around the front hunting down these units. Oh, you are kidding me. Oh, you are kidding me. Reynor has no idea. He kills the Overlord. He's looking out at the front. He's like, yep, no, I've got full vision. There's no way he could be Nidusing anywhere. I called this the Goatalord for a reason, guys. Serral is inside that Overlord driving it. That's right. He climbed up inside the sphincter of that Overlord. Doesn't care about the smell. He's willing to take one for the team. And he literally drives an Overlord to victory in game 1 of this best of 5. There's nothing Reynor can do. He's going to lose his Stargates. He's going to get like 1 Void Ray out, some Phoenix. There's Mass Queen inside his base. Roach is supporting it. This is an absolutely savage push. One of the Stargates already going down. The Roach Ravager coming on in. The Queens are doing so much damage, and Reynor just has to tap out. That was absolutely disgusting. Well played. All right, well, guys, apparently when you get kicked in the face that hard, Reynor shakes his head, gets up, and swaps back to Zerg. He's like, okay, I'm done cosplaying as a Protoss player. We're going back to the main race. Kaisi Gaming's Reynor. The bottom right side here. And the top left side of the map representing NC Esports, it is Serral. Now, will he stick to Zerg for this whole series? Does he win a game and then go back to Protoss? Does he feel this map's better for Zerg than Protoss? Maybe. So one of the problems Protoss have on this map is getting a 5th base, and Reynor's style is all about 5th base, 6th base, 7th base, like mass gateway spam. I think he'd do very well up to the 4th base, but I think from there he'd really struggle. Just because if you think about it, it's like this base is so hard to defend, because usually you're like walling off this area, and then you got to move past your wall off into this big open area to defend. Big area, of course, spread across to this other wall off, which can start getting sieged. So a good idea to play Zerg here on Cosmic Sapphire. Even though big maps normally tend to be very good for Protoss players, there's just that, I keep seeing it over and over again. Protoss looks good on this map, and then they just cannot secure a 5th base for a bit too long, and the Zerg gets a bit too far ahead. So interesting to see where we go from here. Both players going hatch gas pool. Now, Serral doesn't want to build his pool there, so he's not creating any wall with it. I always wonder about that. I'm like, dude, don't you want the semi-wall? But he's like, nope, I just want to build it behind my minerals. I just want to put it out of the way. Now, one argument there is if you do get drone pool, spine crawler rushed, your spawning pool's defended because it's in the back. They can't put spines out here and kill it. Reynor building the one at the front, this allows you to put a queen up there. Now, the problem is, because he built that spawning pool so far there, it's next to the curved corner of the hatchery. You see how the hatchery here has a curved edge? So the queen up there is going to have at least 3 Zerglings will be able to attack it from the north. Whereas if this spawning pool's a bit lower, you could put the queen in the middle, and she's going to be able to survive much longer. So I would be critical of both players' spawning pool locations, but you'd have to ask them exactly why they put it in those positions. They've always got reasons why. Especially the European Zergs, super detail-oriented. Whenever they do get sloppy, Daddy Lambo gives them a bit of a cuff over the back of the head and says, what the hell are you doing? Play proper, clean, efficient build orders. And they're like, yes, Daddy Lambo. Reynor, of course, has worked with Lambo a lot. His first World Championship victory, he gave a lot of props to Lambo for helping train him up on his Zerg vs Protoss, leading to that victory. Where his queen pushes were actually instrumental in his victory, mixing those in versus Zest and the like. Big maxed out queen roach walks. Third hatchery goes down for both players. Now keep an eye on the gas, guys. 2 workers still on gas, 2 workers still on gas. Pretty standard for both players. And we do see 2 more lings being built for Reynor. Serral comes out, gets the first few hits off, wins that fight. Queen's going to move out to the third. This means Reynor's going to miss an inject, guys. It's not too bad because you might be planning to go for a tumor anyway, but you see, notice that he's going to be at 25 energy and he won't be back on creep yet, so he can't inject that hatchery as quickly as he might want to. Serral here, very clean so far. Reynor does have a 1 worker advantage. Both players have gone Baneling Nest. I don't think Reynor's seen the Baneling Nest, though. And both players droning up. Neither player wants to just YOLO the Ling Bane. They're both so good on the scrappy defense. Big map like this doesn't seem like a favorable play. Now, Serral tends to be more defensive in this matchup. Reynor likes to feint aggression and often gets Serral to cancel lairs, cancel upgrades, and then Reynor just is actually ahead. So Reynor will play, he'll be behind, and then he'll scare Serral into playing too careful, and that's when he usually gets ahead, right? Sometimes he does just play a bit greedy and die to Serral's timing attacks, though, right? If Serral has a good read on Reynor's style going into a series, usually their ZVZs start off with Serral getting a free win in game 1. Often game 2, he gets a massive advantage, and both just off planning and build orders, where you can tell Reynor's kind of playing standard, he's just doing his thing. Serral's playing a much more flexible style. Check out the Zergling wall off there on hold position. Reynor realizing, hey, I can just stop you from scouting if I do that really well. He comes in and sees drones going to the third. Those could be fake drones. He's not 100% sure, but he's doing a very good job so far. He's already up 7 workers. I was telling you guys, Reynor does greed, guys. Reynor does greed better than most. Serral is, of course, going into the lair a little bit quicker. He's got the Roach Horn slightly faster, hidden in the back. I do like the hiding of the Roach Horn. Both of these guys evolving their place. They're like, hey, you don't know when my Roach Horn's up. People used to always go for the Roach Horn in the wall off, but I like Serral's wall better because that is plugged by a single queen, whereas Reynor's messed up his positioning. His Evo chamber needed to be 1 space further forward. The Lings of Serral come in. They see the Roach Horn's almost done. He sees the lair. He sees a lot of workers on these bases, though. Reynor also sees that third full of workers. So it's just no holds barred economy at this point. Overlord speed starts up for Reynor so he can continue to scout. He's going to keep sending these Zerglings in. And, oh, can't quite get past. As I said, much better wall off for Serral than it is for Reynor. He placed it a bit better. Ling comes in, and it is 5 gases for Serral. It's actually 6 gases for Reynor, so much more likely for him to drop a Spire right now when this lair finishes. He's got 200 gas available, but of course, Roach speed is probably the higher priority, and with a second Evo, looks like he's going to go +2 at range and +1 carapace. Great scout for Serral, though. Seeing the second Evo chamber is going to make him pretty convinced it's not mutaplay. Right now, 8 roaches are out for Serral. Serral on 53 drones. He's going to do the classic Nidus Worm. This is my favorite strategy. Oh, Serral loves this. So he thinks Reynor maybe is going mutas. It could be a fake Evo chamber. In general, this is just a very strong timing attack. I have taken out a lot of players well above my class with this exact build, and I learnt it from Serral. Whenever Serral feels like Reynor's going to be a bit greedy, he likes to mix this in, but Reynor, he sees the Nidus Worm. Does he notice it, though? There's a Zergling distracting him on the north. He's got his own Lings running around, dodging a Baneling. Reynor, does he realize what's happening? I'm not sure. The Lings are distracting. Serral's like, distraction, distraction, distraction. He's trying to confuse Reynor. He's got roaches coming across the map. +1 range is there. Reynor is right now down 13 roaches, but he's got 11 of them about to pop. Lings here are going to get trapped. Oh, bad fight for Reynor. Loses a handful of Lings for free. His 4th base is on the way. His Overseer is fully aware that this base is not fully saturated, and he realizes he's being all in. It's a crisp timing attack. If Reynor can defend this, though, he's going to be in a great position. He can lose 10, 12 workers and still be ahead because he's got the 4th hatchery. He's up a lot of workers. The drones being pulled to fight is a fantastic choice by Reynor, but he needs them to tank a little bit more. Good focus fire by Serral, taking down some of the queens, but the bile lands big, and Reynor, it looks like he's held the line. He only loses 3 or 4 workers there. He's already pushed back the roaches. Another Nidus Worm does pop inside the main base, though, and that's where things get nasty. Serral, he's popping another one on the low ground of that third. It is not being cleaned up, and that is a huge problem. Reynor's got equal army supply, but Serral's using the Nidus to take some favorable engagements. He's got to be careful, though. He does eat a bit of a corrosive bile. He snipes the Ravager down. Roaches pop out at the third base. Drones have Maynarded to the 4th. The Spine Crawler helping out a lot on that third base. Reynor's got to be good on his splits. Look at this. Serral pops inside the Nidus in the main, pops out on the low ground. That Spine Crawler holding the line like an absolute champ. The Roach Horn gets cleaned up in the main, and Reynor's going to leave 3 roaches there. Reynor's got to pull these roaches back, though. I think he is getting overwhelmed at this third. He's outnumbered. He's got more roaches coming out, but they're not here just yet. Serral dead even in army supply, but he's got an instant reinforce. A single roach in that 4th base does push a lot of these drones back. Nidus gets killed from the high ground. Great move by Reynor there, and that will push Serral back for now, but Serral has done massive economic damage. He's up 8 workers. And guess what? Reynor's only advantage is the 4th hatchery. So Serral's actually got the economic advantage. Reynor goes back to droning. That might be too greedy here. He's going back to droning. He actually has more roaches right now, though. So Serral continuing roach production. He's kind of forced to do that. A new Nidus Worm pops up in the bottom left side of the map. This could still transition. Either player could transition, but right now feels like Reynor is the one who's bouncing back into the economy. Serral feels like he's full committed to an all-in. Roaches moving down the right side. There's still 3 roaches pinned in the main just by the threat of the Nidus Worm. This is the advantage the Nidus Worm gives you. You might have an equal army, but your opponent kind of has to split up to respect it. Careful, Serral. He's got to get out of there. Stays a bit too long. Only loses 1 roach, not the end of the world. More roaches popping out on the left side. Serral's going to use that multi-prong to pick Reynor apart right here. Excuse me, just had to do a bit of a cough there. The 4th hatchery goes down. Serral pops back in his Nidus Worm. Oh, whoa. He pops back out there. He ambushes him. Nice ambush. Gets a couple roach kills there. Nice moves by Serral. Serral's got to be careful about the counterattack. He's up 5 workers. He's got his own 4th building. And he's added his +2 attack a little bit quicker. 6 gases on the way. Serral, he's still threatening with these Nidus Worms. And that's a pretty cheap move. But you've got to be careful because, of course, that roach count of Reynor is massive. Reynor does not have a 4th base secured. And so he's going to be eager to get some counter damage. He's got 2 Lings, which I think he'd like to sneak in and do a bit of damage with maybe some Banelings in the main base. Overseer in the main here for Serral is going to morph and scout things out. Serral, of course, has to be careful that there's not a muta swap or something like this in the works. The Lings do run in and get taken out by the Queens. Reynor sees the full base, though, and he does hopefully realize that it is just a mass roach war. These guys are locked in 61 drones versus 61. And it looks like the Overseer here dropping a Changeling, trying to get through, potentially threatening the Nidus Worms. Reynor does snipe one of Serral's Overlords. The 4th base is getting rebuilt for him. I think it's a very even match. Serral's got a slight lead in terms of the roach count. The carapace is coming in a little bit earlier for Reynor, which will, of course, even things out a bit. Overseer still scouting very well. Serral seeing everything that's up. Burrow and Tunneling Claws coming in for both sides, so it's going to be a Burrow battle. Now, for those who don't know, you can actually see if Burrow is upgrading, and the reason is the Roach Warren's having a bit of a throb. Most Zerg structures, you can tell if they're upgrading because they throb a little bit harder than they normally do. Sounds like I'm making a weird gross joke. I'm not. It's real. It's a serious thing. Look for the throb, and you can tell if they're going for that tech, something most players don't look for. The Roach Ravager is going to try and defend the top, but there's a new Nidus Worm about to pop inside the main base, and Reynor did not notice it. Serral, look at this. He threatens on the front, pulls his attention, and Reynor, with a huge mistake, is taking big damage. Serral has really got him by the short hairs right now. He's grabbed him, and Serral, has he stayed too long? He might have. He's continuing to fight here, and that's a lot of roaches coming back for Reynor. Is it enough though? The drones aren't fighting, and maybe they need to be. The 4th base gets exposed. Serral out multitasking. Reynor using that Nidus Worm. The drones going down in the main, and the 4th base falls. Big boy Serral says, I will not be messed with. You dare play Protoss against me? A 2-0 lead for Serral, ever so decisive in this series. All right, well, this series is going pretty rough for the young Italian. Kaisi Gaming's Reynor, his back is up against the wall. He's been here before, though, and he's shown a lot of resilience and an ability to bounce back. It's Kaisi Gaming's Reynor. Often able to smile when in a hard position, when Serral and, you know, trapping Beyond and these guys might look a bit stressed up there when they're behind in a series. I feel like Reynor looks relaxed as ever and almost like he enjoys playing from behind. So I'm not too worried for him mentally. I'm just worried about, I don't care how good your mentality is and how well you're playing. Beating Serral 3 games in a row is going to be really tough. Obviously, repping NC Sports as per usual, going pool first here. So 17 pool for Serral. So this is a very economic spawning pool opening. I do wonder if he goes for like a 6 ling pressure or something like that. It looks like he's probably going to go 18 hatch or... No, 17 hatch. Saving that lava. Okay. So it's 17 pool, 17 hatchery here is Serral. And, oh, actually pulled that drone back for a moment. Slight mistake there. Does it delay his hatchery? Haha! By half a second. Absolutely disgusting. Such a bad build order for Serral. Just kidding, of course. He's building gas and more drones, so yeah, he's not going to go for a Zergling pressure. I think this is a purely defensive one. I think he's like, hey, are we going to see Zerglings? Are we going to see Zerglings? And he's like, hey, okay, they would have popped out by now, so I wouldn't be surprised to just see him go for a queen. 4 Zerglings? Or nope, just a queen and 2 Zerglings. Okay. After that, he'll go for an Overlord and just play a pretty standard build and basically be one drone behind for this whole early game. People often ask, what's the difference between a pull first, hatch first? And it's like, yeah, you're about half a drone, maybe one drone behind. Now, of course, he gets injects going further earlier. His second inject will be about the same time as the second inject of Reynor, but his first inject is about 30 seconds earlier. So it's not a bad build order by any means. It is interesting in my mind that he delayed the Overlord this long. This might be because he's planning to get Ling speed with his next bit of money, but normally you'd take that earlier. No, it was a mistake. He extractor tricks here. He builds an extractor and a spore crawler. Oh, and then he messed it up. Oh my god, that was, oh god, Serral. Serral shitting the bed on his early build order, guys. I was like, you meant to go 21 Overlord. And then Serral just messing up his build order for no reason. He tried to do the trick, didn't build the units properly in time, so he had to do it a second time. So a real mess of an opening for Serral. Actually, did he do it a second time? Maybe it was only once. 42 minerals. Usually you lose 17 with a spore crawler trick, and you lose only about 7 or 8, I believe, with a extractor trick. So yeah, I think it was a double spore extractor trick. A little bit messy. The Lings do get a scout, but not much else. Third hatchery is down quicker for Reynor. Bailey nest is up very early for Serral. His third hatchery goes down a few seconds later. And Serral equal on workers, but there's 4 Lings out for both sides. 2 queens on both sides. No third queen started for either. And 4 Lings able to defend this base here. So Serral does win that slight skirmish. Reynor thinks about fighting, but of course he's got less hit points. He has to back off. Let's look at Reynor's vision. He's got these 2 Overlords covering the front. Very nice. Serral gives up vision in the middle. Oh, okay, so he's going to pull a third Overlord in. So he's going to put this Overlord up here to the left, and he's going to let this Overlord come forward. So he's got the foolproof vision where a queen cannot push it back. Whereas if you think about it, if Serral walks a queen down and hits this Overlord back, he might be able to sneak Ling Flood out the left side of the map. So Serral, as always, trying to play exceptionally safe, whereas Reynor being willing to be a bit greedier. Reynor has the Evo Chamber and a 4 worker lead. Serral's flooding Ling Bane out, making 2 Banelings on the front. Reynor does scout it coming. He's got 2 Banelings of his own morphing. Creep Tumor is trying to get there. He's got to defend this third base, though. He's making a lot of Banes. His queens are all coming out the front. He's building a third queen in the main to replace the 2 that are being pulled, but they're going to take a while to get there. And his own Baneling is even slowing him down. So look at that. Good spread from Reynor on these. Nice det. That was a very good detonation on that. Oh, whoa. Did Serral just blow up a few of his own Banelings accidentally? What the hell? I feel like he just blew up some of his own Banelings for no good reason. It looks like a Zergling scouted at the same time, and Serral messing up his control there. Didn't spread well versus the first Baneling. Takes a bit of damage. He's down 4 workers, and Reynor's the one with the momentum who's putting the fight on his side of the map. Banelings are coming forward as well. This could be a good Ling run by if they can surround the queen, but the Banelings are nearby. Lings get a good fight for Reynor, and he pulls back in time. His own Banelings come forward. He does lose a queen, does Reynor, but he blows up the Zerglings in revenge. So okay trades on all sides for both, but Serral is still the one who's got this force on his side of the map. The Ling Bane comes forward. Lings in the main do get cleaned up. Reynor pulling back on the right side. Reynor still up 3 workers, 7 more in production. Both players having a similarly timed Roach Horn, but it's Reynor who has a lot more vision. He's got a lot more of a feel for exactly what Serral is up to in these games. Now, Serral's going to come in this Ling, seeing a lot of drones on this third is going to make his heart sink. He's going to realize I'm a little behind on the workers right now. Not the situation I want to be in. Sees the Roach Horns just now finishing up. It's not a massive lead for Reynor economically, but it is definitely tangible. It's something you can feel. Serral going to try and pick off a Baneling. Oh, his own Baneling comes forward, but Reynor with a quick spready. The Baneling tried to pull back, but Reynor puts another Ling on it. Oh, very well done here by Reynor. Can he get the queen though? Yep, he'll get her, but he will lose quite a few Zerglings here. Good micro on his part, but Serral goes, nah, you ain't leaving, son. Blows all of those up, and guess what? Serral did also sneak 2 Banelings into the main. Just when I thought Reynor was in a really good spot, he's going to do a slight Roach Bane pressure, guys. He's doing 9 Roaches, a handful of Lings and Banes. He's scaring the heck out of Serral right now. Problem for him is there's 2 Banelings behind it. It's not an all-in commitment by any means. Oh, good run. Good run by Reynor. Great spready. Already gets rid of one of the Banelings, which means he loses the lethality. It takes 2 Banelings to kill the drone, so it's no longer an issue. Great handling by Reynor, who's going to find an exposed mineral line. Run. Spread. Serral about to take some big booms. Roaches coming forward here. The Banelings have to come over to help against those Lings. Okay, Reynor does not get the big booms on the worker line, and that Baneling not going to find too much, but he's still got more Roaches on the front right now. Serral should have enough Roaches popping out to defend, and that should find some damage. Spinecrawler finishes. Did Serral cancel his lair? No, he didn't. Serral's had a lot of problems with canceling his lair in panic against these sort of roach pokes that Reynor does, but the reason we call that a poke is the fact that he's always droning behind it. Notice, third, fully saturated. Fourth base, on the way. Sixth, gas, on the way. And he's dropping a Spire behind it. Reynor always gets a reaction out of Serral with that move, and Serral has been traumatized because whenever he underreacts, Reynor just kills him with like a really committed Roach Bane. And whenever Reynor's just faking it, Serral overreacts and finds himself behind in the workers afterwards. It's this thing where just the way it's gone in terms of Serral getting the misread on it in the last 10, 20, games they've had, the last 4 or 5 series, Serral's in his own head. Whenever he sees those roaches coming across the map, he freaks out a little bit because he's been taken out or put behind by it so many times. Now, in this scenario, he's actually doing okay. He's only behind 4 workers, is Serral. But he doesn't have the info right now. He's got OV speed coming in, but it's going to kick in as the Spire's already finished. That means these Mutas should do very well. Serral's Overseer needs to get him some warning of what's going on here. Like I said, supply is even enough that Serral should be able to come in and hang on and defend, but he's only got 3 queens. If he sees this Spire, oh, he's not going to see it. Good queen pull. Good queen pull. Oh, speed kicks in just in time. Okay, he sees the Spire just a few seconds before it finishes. That's very important. We should see Queen starting up. He's going to go Hydra Den, so he's going to try and get a few Hydras out. 6 Mutas just to clean up all the Overlords. The main thing you do with Mutas is you clean up Overlords, you force anti-air. Serral doesn't want to build Queens or Spores, so he's like, screw it. I'm going to do a Roach drop, and I'm also going to just build a few Hydras. So, hey, he's doing the bare minimal reaction, and you know what? Against just 6 Mutas, I think that works out okay. Overseer scouts the Hydra Den. That is all fine. The Mutas will fly out. We've got an Overseer flying around the backside. So is he gonna... Oh, he's gonna hide in the back and try to drop Changelings. Reynor spots it though. Nicely done. And that Queen can drop some... maybe a Contaminate, but no, he's going to just go for the Changelings. Overlords are getting taken out, guys, by these Mutas, but OV speeds here. Serral could save some of them if he wanted to, but his Hydras aren't on the field yet, so he's kind of just like, whatever, you get a few Overlord kills. It's the Roach push behind it that could just win the game, though. He's building 7 Hydras right now. He needs to survive. Uh-oh, Reynor's on the front with a very scary army. If Serral can hold this choke, it's okay, but the thing is, if you get pushed back behind this area, like there's actually a bit of a vicious choke point between the hatchery and that pillar. That's something he's gonna have to watch out for later on in this game. Carapace is starting for Reynor, so of course he's gonna be down a Carapace upgrade for this next fight. Oh, it's not quite done yet for Serral, actually. Serral's got a few Hydras in there, and he's got 1 or 2 Corrosive Biles dropping in. He even focuses the Ravager in the back. Very cute move by Serral. He's got the power of Biles and Hydras in the back to add a lot of firepower, but attacking forward into a Concave may not be the best decision there. He tries to readjust his Concave, and he does fall back. Meanwhile, Mutas on the right side cleaning up more Overlords. You can see the value that Reynor's getting out of those Mutas. They just pick off so many units, and they cause so many troubles. And if you don't build Spores, like the 4th base, then the Mutas could fly in there and do some damage. Biles don't land on anything. Great spready from Reynor. Reynor has not gone for the next step of the game. He's just playing Mass Roach, but he's doing it with a superior economy. He's got the 5th base on the way, he's up 10 workers, and he's going high. Vipers are incredible. If he can use Blinding Cloud or even Abduct on enemy lurkers, it can just be a game-changing ability, not to mention Roaches on the right side dive in. Great split from Reynor. He says, oh yeah, you like multitasking? You like using your stupid Nidus Worm in that last game? He's going to be the one picking Serral apart this time. Mutas in the right, also exposing that middle line. These Roaches are getting their butt kicked, though. Reynor should get out of there, but he crushes the fight on the right side, and it's his turn to have the bit of the army advantage, to run in from multiple angles. He's even going to run in on this right side, and the Roach Queen, Ravager, Hydra trying to hold. Serral's hunting down the Roaches in the left, but is it at the cost of getting broken in the middle? It very well may be. Remember that Reynor has more income this whole time. Serral keeps on losing mining, and look at that. The Mutas are finding the worker line in the top. The Hydras need to get up there. Every drone is sacred right now for a Serral who is barely hanging on for dear life. He's down 24 workers, and look at that. Another 24 Roaches building at once for Reynor. Instantly remaxes. Reynor can just keep flowing at him. and denying his bases, attacking in multiple areas, I don't know if Serral's going to have the numbers to hang on. It went from equal army supply to Reynor being up 20 army supply, just like that. Not only that, he's got +3 on the way. He's got Burrow finished, Tunneling Claws on the way. So he's going to just have a well-upgraded Roach army. He's got a single Infester, which I don't even know if that's a misclick or not because it seems super random. But hey, a Fungal definitely could hold your opponent in place and land some vials. Roach Ravager army trying to split up. Reynor says, oh no, that's fine. I'll just fight here then, dude. You want to fight me? I am happy to. These Roaches of Serral's got caught in front of the building and Serral's just way too outnumbered. He's got to tap out. Reynor fights his way back into the series. That was a fun, action-packed early game. Still 2-1 to Serral, though. All right, guys. He gets a point on the board. A bit of confidence booster there. Still playing Zerg. It looks like he's not going to be going back to Protoss in this series. We've got Kaisi Gaming's Reynor. And he does go for that hatchery in the bottom there. Hatch first for both sides. Serral in the top right, representing ENCE Esports. The Finnish Phenom versus the Italian Stallion. These crab beetles on this map, one of my favorite critters. Yum, 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 yum. Bloody adorable they are. Bloody adorable creatures. Now, this is a rather large map, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. Reynor also not creating a little choke point with the spawning pool. Just a very slight detour units will have to take around it. Serral this time does create a little choke point, but it is on the rear of the mineral line, so interesting to see that slight difference. Now, do we pull off minerals onto gas? For Reynor, it looks like the answer is yes. For Serral, the answer is no. So Serral's only rallying new drones into the gas, which means Reynor will have a quicker ling speed by maybe 5 seconds. You can see here just that 12 gas lead, so 3 little worker trips. No big deviance in the build orders just yet. Serral is already rallying workers to the low ground. No Overlord for him. So we've got 21 Overlord building for both sides as they start the 2 Queens and the 2 Zerglings each. Overlord comes in for Reynor, sees the creep. Serral comes in, sees the creep, goes a little bit deeper before turning around. Notice he'd queued that Overlord to pull back. So if he was getting 12 pulled, it would automatically run to safety without him microing it, even while he's defending at home. Good attention to detail for Serral. Something I've been criticizing a lot of top pros for recently is them losing that Overlord versus a 12 pool. And I mean, this is something even one of my old 9 pool strategies back in Heart of the Swarm was always based around running down with a queen quickly and sniping their Overlord. And still, in 2022, occasionally the 12 pool or with the queen sneaking down there does get that OV kill. Something that shouldn't happen, and it won't happen against Serral, though, because he's built his build order around making sure he's prepared for all those little edge cases. Baneling Nest is on the way at the front, creating a bit of a wall-off. Same for Reynor. Mirrored build orders, but Reynor is up 1 worker. Serral built an extra 2 Zerglings to kind of defend, but it looks like because the Zerglings didn't come across the map, he didn't have to end up using them. So Reynor takes that epic 1 drone advantage. Now, he's only got 2 workers on gas. Serral's put a 3rd one back on. So Serral will have a little bit more gas here. Ling speed is going to finish only about 2 seconds faster. Reynor did not start it as early as he could have. Reynor's building only 6 Lings right now. Doesn't look like he's being aggressive with it. Is Serral going to do a light Ling Bane pressure? These Lings are in a pretty good forward position. He could run across the map if he wants to, but Serral, like I said, more of a defensive player, always likes to have a set of Ling Bane at home. Evo Chamber going down for both sides in the wall. No one really pressuring just yet. Reynor wants the scout, but he doesn't want to throw the Zergling away for free. Same thing for Serral. Both players are just using their Lings to defend the scouting. Man, I love watching these guys play because for me, when I scout in ZBZ, I just click a Ling in and I hope it gets in the base. And I look back later to see what it saw. Or maybe I micro it a tiny bit once it's in the main. But these guys just, every Zergling's being microed, you know, inject, build drones, take gas, build Roach Warren. Serral's going the Roach Warren a bit quicker. And only in between that, they're like, okay, see if we can dart in, see if we can get some vision. But both players very on point. They're blocking all the scouting. No one's getting free info. Another Zergling waiting on the left. So if these Lings get chased home, he can send this Zergling in. Both players are dead even in the work account. Such an even match between these two. The Queen cleans that one up. Reynor's Zergling is still running around. He loses one of them, but he's got another Zergling. You can see he cues this up the top side. He's going to try to come in once more for a scout. Serral sending another scout in as well. Dude, this is just amazing. They're so good, and they're seeing drones popping out. Even that alone tells you, hey, my opponent's still building drones. This is not just a fake transfer of workers. This is a real amount of drones that are being actively produced. Neither player able to breach the ramp though, so they do have to be a little cautious. What? Did Reynor just blow up his own Baneling there? What? That was weird. Reynor, I felt like he attacked the Baneling with his queen and then also detonated it at the same time. Very weird to see. Lair is finishing for both sides. Overlord speed's on the way for Serral. A few roaches got built for Reynor. Reynor's going to do the fake roach push. Can he get a bite? Can he get Serral to freak out? Serral is, of course, building his own roaches reactive. He's got a 4th hatchery. Serral's like, oh, God, not again. He's doing the roach pressure that he always gets me with, man. And Reynor, of course, is holding the worker key down crazy hard. I mean, it's getting a bit too predictable at this point, the fact that Reynor does this every game. But like I said, he's gotten ahead so many times with it. It seems to be just a good move against Serral's mentality. But I think after a year and a half of Reynor doing this to him every game, Serral seems to be handling it calmer. He's not canceling his +1. He starts the spine. Reynor turns around, cancels the spine. Goes for the second Evo. He does need to remember his roach speed, though. You gotta remember that roach speed, Serral. Very important upgrade, buddy. Oh, Serral. Guys, he's making a drop a lot. He thinks he's started it. Oh, okay, he noticed. I was like, well, this is going to be the dumbest way to lose a game ever. Did he see the Spire? No, Overseer tries to go in, does not see the Spire. Now, Serral did cancel Overlord speed. So you know what? There was a little bit of value for Reynor. He got him to cancel Overlord speed. Reynor trying to out-micro Serral in a Zergling fight, but he's down a Zergling the whole time, so it's completely pointless. Yeah, this is a big problem because this has delayed the Overseer seeing what's up. So check this out. Reynor is going to try and damage this Overseer. Serral should see this Spire, though. And indeed he will. Okay, he sees the Spire. It's only 3/4 complete. Plenty of time. And he's actually building a few queens this time and an infestation pit. So Serral, he's going to play old school. He's not going to go Hydras. He's going to defend 4 bases with queens, roaches, go to Hive, and he's going to get lurkers and vipers. And that's a pretty good way of playing it. He's just saying, look, as long as I can I've got creep on my 4th, get a spore in each mineral line, get a few queens out. He's only going to build 5 or 6 mutas. So I don't need a lot of anti-air. I just need to withstand the roach push that comes behind it. Now, Reynor, he's got 73 workers already. His 4th is up. He's got a 7th gas on the way. Now, remember, he tried to just swarm with mass roach ravager in that last game. He might try it again. We might see vipers. Oh, banelings! Sneaky baneling run by. Oh, my God. Friggin' shizzle fizz, man. Dude, he just got like 11 workers on that base. That was massive. A big baneling hit there for Reynor, right in the middle of the mineral line. Just 2 waddly boys. The mutas distract on the left. The banelings go in on the right. Reynor always doing things in 2 places at once. Not just that, he's set up an Overseer down here, so we can actually see, oh yeah, you're re-droning. I can see what's happening. Mutas picking off Overlords. I'm surprised Serral isn't pulling his Overlords back to safety. I know he kind of wants to see where things are coming from, so he's like, oh, I'm okay losing 1 to see where the mutas, but surprisingly he's not pulling these other Overlords back. You can see, I mean, this is 100 minerals, another 100 minerals, another 100 minerals, and oh, Roach Drop gets in. Nice Roach Drop counterattack, pulls these guys home. So that's going to try and pull the mutas home, I guess. The Overseer, does it outspeed mutas? No, it doesn't. 4.72 versus 5.6 movement speed. I was like, there's no way, right? The Roach Drop will get taken down. He should just run to the corner of the map. He's going to try and redrop in the main, potentially. But the mutas are on top. Serral unloads. Reynor is a little bit slow with his roaches. Let's see if he can grab a few more drone kills. Serral runs to the natural. And those drones looking like tasty treats for these 4 roaches. Serral gets 1, he gets 2, and he's obviously busy macroing at the same time. This is not the most important thing. He gets 3 drones. Meanwhile, Reynor pushes the front. Ooh, Serral does dodge the biles, but already you see Reynor took a great position here. Oh my God, this is such a good position for Reynor. Oh my God, he's smashing it. Dude, I think even with that roach run by trying to distract him, it doesn't matter. He just gets such a good angle. And Serral just cannot withstand the roach assault. Why is he able to die like this, guys? The reason is he's built 3 spores. He's built like 5, 6 queens before this happens, right? So before this roach push comes in, he's built 3 extra queens than he wanted to. He also took that baneling hit where he had to replace the drones. He's built the infestation. He also starts the hive. You're going to see him start that in just a moment. 200, 150. 2 infestors, which don't get time to pay off. That's 200 minerals, 300 gas. He's got his Roach Ravager out of position, unfortunately, because the mutas cleared it up. I mean, this is just a nightmare situation for Serral. He's built 3 spores as well across his bases, which is a lot of minerals going into that. And Reynor just says, hey, I'm doing nothing but massing roach. My tech transition is way behind. I'm maxed out. I have way more roaches than you, and I'm just going to shove in and kill you right now. Very, very well played by Reynor. He's going to take it to game 5, and Serral has got to be a little bit annoyed because this is going to the final match. All right, guys, well, dashing our hopes and dreams of seeing this decided by a Protoss versus Zerg match, Reynor is going to stick with Zerg in this one. Game number 5, though, punching his way out of the grave. The Mutas have done well. The problem is he's kind of won 2 games in a row with the same trick. Do the roach pressure, get the Muta Spire behind it, get a few Mutas for map control, kill with a big roach push. It's a simple style of play. Serral's struggling with it, but will he keep struggling with it? And I'm thinking about this from Serral's point of view because he's really the one who has to solve this. If it's the exact same game plan, perhaps going Carapace and just doing his own massive roach commitment and trying to overwhelm Reynor could work, but it doesn't seem like a good idea because Reynor by default is already building roaches for his own fake pressure. But if you could somehow hide what you're doing and surprise him with a giant roach push, that might work. Serral also could simply go for his own Mutalisks. And that is definitely an option. He could say, you know what, let's Mutalisk the Mutaplayer. I mean, Roach Corruptor, also one of Serral's favorite things. I've talked a bit actually after Katowice how I was like, stop building Corruptors, they're so bad. Serral, I was like drunkenly harassing him. I think he'd had a drink or two as well. He had a big smile on his face. I was like, Serral, you played like a god. But stop building Corruptors, it looks stupid. They're bad. Corruptor Roach is bad. He's like, dude, it was doing fine. The only reason I lost that game is because I tried to kill him. If I didn't all in, he's like, look, Roach Corruptor as an all in is bad, but if you just use it to shut them down in the mid game and then you transition, it's really good. And I'm like, I've never seen someone do it not as an all in. And he was like, yeah, no, it's really good. And I was like, I guess that makes sense. Show it to us sometime. Still, I don't think I've ever seen it as not an all-in. I've always seen the Roach Corruptor either just wins the game or fails, and that's it. I've never seen it transition, so I'm really curious to see what happens. Hats off to Serral for putting up with drunken morons like me, by the way, harassing him right after he wins World Championships. I always feel like, you know, like I would never shit on a player who's lost the tournament, but like if he's just won the tournament, I'm like, oh, no holds barred. He's the champion. He's like on top of the world. I can totally try and take him down a peg. You know, I'll harass him about the one game he lost here or there and be like, oi, what went wrong in that one, dude? Why'd you do that stupid thing? Takes it like a champ, though. Does take it like a champ. To be fair, Reynor, of course, is he's been on a little bit of an unfortunate streak, of course, playing this after coming back from GSL and being upset about his performances there. He was not too happy with how he went at GSL, and he did have to lock in one race, and ZVZ is where he kind of looked the weakest, to be fair, but this series he's looked on point. Both players are opening very standard. That's why we haven't been talking about the openings too much. I feel like at this stage of the game, you have a big smile, but also an intense energy radiating off Reynor. I think Serral, on the other hand, looks stressed. He looks tense. And he almost looks like he's gonna get really, and he's probably angry as well. I think after losing 2 games in a row from 2-0 up, the thing is, you'd look at that and you'd think that means Serral's got a fragile mentality and is gonna fall apart and stuff. I think it's just the way he is. I think it's just, you know, everyone has their own different way of leveling up. And for Reynor, it's having a big smile on his face and trying to pull off impossible maneuvers and really low percentage maneuvers. For Serral, it's, I will make 0 mistakes. Oh, he does let the Zergling in. Let's see if the Queen can kill it. Does see that there's no lair started. Indication that there could be an attack coming, but it's not too early for that. Roach Warren goes down for Reynor. Looked like he delayed it a good bit, but doesn't want to delay it too much longer. He's up on 3 gases. 44 drones for Reynor, only 42 for Serral. Serral's building 20 lings. He's going to do a Ling Bane pressure. And you know what? The Roach Warren's so late, he won't be able to defend with Roaches. 6 Banelings are making. 2 there. Oh, just in vision. 2 of them are in vision. 2 up the top left as well. And he's making some, I believe, at home. No, they're in the bottom. Oh, Reynor. He's only making 1 Baneling. He doesn't realize there's 6 Banelings about to come in. Oh, Serral going for a big Ling Bane flood. I think he's going to drone behind this. He's pretty supply blocked right now, but he won't be for long. A lot of fighting going on. Banelings coming in from all sides. The Banelings of Serral. They damage the workers, but he doesn't get the big juicy hits that he really wanted. Those drones trying to get out of there, and they do evacuate Reynor with some clutch micro, but the 3rd hatch, if that goes down, he is in the dumps. Serral building 3 roaches, 5 drones, and 6 Zergings behind this. So he's building a couple of roaches, so he's ready for a counterattack. He's going to get the snipe on the hatchery. Oh, Reynor not realizing that Serral snuck 6 Zerglings into sneaky Baneling spots. And what a great way to take advantage of him. Oh, Reynor gets a big hit. Serral runs up the ramp. Oh my God. That was a real Wow, the rare Platinum League maneuver there from Serral does give away a little bit of that advantage, allows maybe Reynor the space to rebuild the third, but of course, you've got a lair on the way. Oh, actually, there's already a Spire on the way? He has a lair finish. Okay, so Reynor's tech is all right. He's only down 4 workers as well. Obviously, there'll be a big mineral advantage for Serral, so he can turn this into a much bigger lead as long as he keeps droning. I think Serral's being a little bit cautious with his Roach production. I actually think Serral could keep attacking with Roach Bane right now. He actually has a big unit advantage and a drone advantage. But he's playing a bit conservatively with the Roaches. He's not making Roach speed yet. He's just kind of looking a little overly defensive. And Roach speed starts up. I mean, if he pushes out, Reynor's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Reynor's already down on Roaches. If he keeps making Roaches, and if he has to make Ravages, he's not going to be able to afford any Muters. His gas is already pretty low. Doesn't really have any gas banked up to use that Spire in a big way. I do think Reynor can claw his way out of this position, especially if Serral keeps kind of sitting here defensively. Is Serral just going to all in? I mean, he's not fully mining this gas geyser. He's very short on gas. He's only on 4. Oh, he's just going. Oh, Reynor not scouting right now. He's assuming Serral's droning because that's what Serral normally does. And Serral's like, I am done with messing around. Reynor has been droning up. He gets a worker lead, which is a disaster for Reynor in this circumstance. Serral's just waiting for Roach speed. He's waiting for Roach speed. And in 10 seconds, he's going to move out. When Roach speed's, I think, about 5-10 seconds from finished, he will move out. And Reynor may be building Muters, but 5 Muters will not be able to stop this advance. It's go time, Serral. It is go time. Reynor's Overlord might not see this for a few seconds as well. Roach speed still not done. Serral's a little bit annoyed that this is taking so long to finish. That Roach speed being forgotten does slow down his push. This is a gigantic all-in Roach thrust. His Overlord dropping a little bit of some carpet there to speed up those. And there we go. Ling drop inside the main comes in. That keeps the Muters and Roaches occupied. Great move here by Serral just to distract the Zerglings, giving the middle finger to the Queen, the Muters, the Roaches. And this allows him to shove forward, pulling back to the ramp. A genius maneuver from Reynor. Reynor realizes this is an all-in. He's got to hold the choke. He can't let him through. Serral trying to shove on through, and he's through. He's moving on forwards. The drones are being pulled, but it might be too late. The Muters have no time to work their damage. Serral realizing, yes, he's on a timer by the Muters, but he's going to get so much damage done in that timing. The Roaches are just slaughtering. He commits to the surprise Ling Bane, follows it up with a massive Roach timing, and hammers on through. Dude, Reynor loses every single worker, and he is eliminated from the series. Serral, so good at hiding that move. We've got to take a look. How did those Banelings get in position? That Ling Bane maneuver hit, what, 5 minutes? Something like that? Yeah. Somewhere around 4 minutes. This was not an early Ling Bane timing, but it was a sneaky Ling Bane timing. So he was scouting with these 2 Lings. He pulls back out of Overlord vision, cues them to the left, morphs Banelings there. These Zerglings, when did these guys hide here? Okay, he pulls back from them skirmishing, and these Zerglings just go right down to the bottom. He hides these Lings, right? Yep. Wow, so Serral did a really good job of not letting the Overlords kind of see where those Lings were going, where they were hiding. And because Reynor was more focused on denying scouting here and keeping Serral guessing, sometimes there's a real advantage to being out of the map. Like if Reynor's putting pressure on and clearing the map up and stuff, it's much harder for Serral to hide these Banelings everywhere. But look at the way Serral set this up. These guys, he's like, oh yeah, just pulling back as if it's a scout, and then he doubles back and hides on the edge of the map, and then 2 more even come in. And these last 2 did get spotted. But look, it's like, he's like, oh yeah, it's just 3 Zerglings, it's just for scouting, that's all, bro. Little does Serral realize there is an Overlord. So he accidentally does do it barely in Overlord vision, but it's two there, 2 there, 2 there, the Lings flood out, and Reynor, he's like, oh, there's a bit of a Ling pressure coming. But Reynor's Overlord vision also sucks. Oh no. Oh, this is why he only sees a couple Zerglings coming. Guys, Reynor messed up his Overlord vision. He didn't have proper vision of this ramp. He did not realize how many Lings were coming. If he made more Banelings here, he could have been fine, but he only makes 1. That's a disaster. That is a big problem for him. And this comes back to Reynor's vision. Let's look at Serral's vision. Serral has full vision of basically these areas. And it's hard on this map to keep full vision. But notice he has 3 Overlords, 1 on each of these main paths to keep track of everything. Reynor only has 2, which works a lot better on most maps. But on this map, once he takes that front third, he doesn't have vision on the top. And this Overlord should be over here. And he really needs another Overlord up here covering the middle. Because he doesn't see these Lings move, he gets punished. Now, I've talked for years about how Overlord placement is one of the key fundamentals that most Zerg players lack. And it is absolutely astounding to see Reynor leave that gap in his vision to only see a few units come out. We can watch it as well. You guys can see on his vision what he sees here. He does catch quite a lot of those Zerglings coming. So he's kind of aware of it, but maybe just not quite how many Zerglings are coming until this moment. And he really needed to morph a lot more Banelings. He does try to morph them, but even just that couple of seconds delay on that, look at how good Serral is at focusing these down. Really great focus fire by Serral. Gets some really good momentum. Well done, mate. And he's actually a little unlucky as Serral. He could have killed all those drones with those 2 Banelings if he microed it a little bit better. But Reynor, he kind of finally gets a Baneling ready, but that's it. He doesn't have anything else. These guys, he doesn't have enough gas to be morphing more Banes. This was a beautiful maneuver for Serral to finish off the series. Well played, mate.